If you're new here, I create mind reframing content. So welcome. You're likely sick of being you. You're fed up of living the same old way. You may be frustrated that it seems that you cannot change the external. But how can you do that? Well, all of that starts with internal change. Perhaps you already know that, but even though you know the solution, you find yourself pushing it to the next day or to a more convenient time. Sounds familiar? You have reached a point of no more. Usually that's when change occurs. You've gone deeper than rock bottom. Perhaps you don't want to get there and you are taking action, so that's why you're here. Now, in a previous video, the one of if you're planning on reinventing yourself, you should consider this, I briefly spoke about how you have to hold a funeral to your old self. So I wanted to expand a little bit more on that and how you can go about this in this video. First and foremost, if you have not watched any of my other videos, I suggest you do so you can understand some of these concepts a little bit better. As everything I talk about is based on metaphysical concepts. Essentially, we exist at all times in different planes. And if you want to exert actual change in your physical reality, then you have to exert change in other planes first. It is not enough for you to want to do some things. There's a bit more work that is required. To understand some of the exercises I will be touching on in this video, you would have to understand that specifically in the mental plane, when you give your energy to something, that something takes a life of its own. You're feeding this thing with a direct energy channel. In the same way that you create energy channels with people that you may know or come across or consider relevant or important in your own life. You create connections. This is the reason why, based on this knowledge, we understand that there may be things, thoughts, beliefs that shape up who you are in this world, as well as the reality that you live in, that are paths that you have created consciously or unconsciously, and some of them need to be cut. So to have a funeral to your old self, of course this is a symbolic funeral, you must address the parts of you that are ready to die, for you to be able to plant new seeds and decide what will be born from the old into the new. I highly recommend for you to grab a piece of paper and pen, otherwise your journal, so you can write down some of these questions and prompts. As I've spoken about in previous videos, I recommend for you to, in order to reinvent yourself and step into the new you, leaving the old behind, for you to cut out things from your life, especially physical objects, as well as people that may not align with who you want to be in the near future. Things hold energy. And so if you want to reinvent yourself and let go of the old identity, it serves you well to spring clean a little bit and let go of certain objects that do not resonate with you at this time. I want to make reference to Clarissa Pinkola Estés, which is the author of Women Who Run with the Wolves, because in her book, she speaks about descansos. The word descansos is a Spanish word that means rests, or stops, resting places. And it traditionally refers to roadside markers or crosses that signify where someone has passed away on a road. You probably have seen this in the past. These markers are reminders of loss, pause, and reflection. So we will take this as inspiration for the next exercise. The point of this exercise is to honor your experiences, the things that have led you up until this point, the experiences that have shaped you and your life as well as your reality right now. In order to conduct a funeral to your old self, you have to address these experiences so you can reclaim your strength and reconnect with your creative essence. So for the time being, I will pose some questions to you so you can reflect a little bit and start mulling over them. What channels do you need to cut? What parts of your identity are you giving life and energy to that you perhaps no longer want to feed? Think of important, crucial moments in your life from the time you were born up until this point that have shaped you into the person that you are today. Next up, I will have you draw a line in a piece of paper, and I would like you to put a 0 from the beginning of the line and your age now at the end of the line. Within the line, you're going to create crosses that exist in the span of your life and represent these specific moments that may be influential or important to you. That could be the passing of a loved one, if that's impacted you. It could be moments in your life that changed the way that you think about the world, or perhaps things that have happened in your family that have affected or influenced the way that you perceive reality that you at this point recognize no longer serve you for where you want to go. Warning: letting go of who you once were is going to require you to fully commit to be consciously different today. Once you're armed with your chronological line of descansos or stops, I recommend you create some space and set the mood for this sort of ritual that you're going to follow, which is the funeral to your old self. Set the intention. Why do you want to do this? What is the energy that you want to step into? What phase of your life do you want to venture into? If you'd like, you could get rid of your physical things that you're getting rid of at the same time of this enactment. You can also write down a list of things, characteristics, qualities, behaviors, habits that you want to get rid of along this funeral to your old self. So now you can grab your journal, grab a piece of paper, or otherwise you can also use the photo booth confessionals that I've mentioned in all the videos if you don't want to write these things, but you can talk them out loud. And what you're going to do is write an eulogy for your old self. Remember, wanting to better yourself and step into the new you should come from a place of love, not a place of hate. More often than not, we wish to be something other than we are. But in reality, the point of this exercise is not to despise who we are, but to lovingly want to step into a more authentic version of ourselves. Sometimes the person that we've been up until this point has served its purpose, and we're ready to embody a new and improved version of ourselves. Remember to do this with love, the same way that you would for a loved one that has just passed. Doing so will be easier for you to let go by honoring the old you and how it served you. Write down and celebrate each stop that you have crossed on your life's path. Write down, why has this helped you? How has it helped you be the person that you are now? You wouldn't be sitting here trying to be a better you if you hadn't gone through those experiences. For each stop, write a thank you and honor those parts of yourself. Also, write down why you're ready to let go of this, or how you're ready to let go of this thing that truly shaped you on a deep emotional level. Say thank you, I'm ready to move on. Of course, you can set the mood with music or decorations that you feel are appropriate for this moment. The symbolic funeral can be as simple or as complex as you want it to be. Take your time and make sure to have a lot of rest, as revisiting some of these descansos could be emotionally intense. You can write a letter to the old you, forgiving yourself as well as saying thank you. You can also write short letters, a few paragraphs to people that have served in your development and you want to let go of. After all, that part of them that lies within you may also have to die. Symbolically, of course. As a closing act, you can seal the ritual by saying a definite phrase such as, I release what no longer serves me and I embrace my new self. Or as a physical gesture, you can bury things or plant things on the ground to symbolize the growth. Once you have done this, it is time for you to celebrate your birth. Hopefully with all of this, you are ready to start creating the blueprint of your new life. This could be a perfect time to work on your metaphysical manifesting vision board, as I guide you to do so step by step in one of my videos. Now you're ready to shift your focus to celebrate your new identity. You can have a toast with your favorite drink, tea, coffee, and write down affirmations that relate to the new you that you want to step into. Happy creating, and see you on the next video.
Alright folks, that's so much for today's summer episode. Which track is your favorite? Please let us know by leaving a comment.